Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, I have an interesting topic here, something that I had not thought about, and it's a statement, comments from the esteemed Teddy Atlas in regards to Canelo Alvarez and why sparring with Jaron Ennis might be a huge mistake on his part. But before we jump into that topic, I would like to welcome those of you who are new to the channel. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, where Jason and I are always dropping boxing related content, whether it's commentary, fight breakdowns, or documentaries. We do it all here at AM Sports Media. You would be hard pressed to find a boxing platform that is better produced than this channel. So make sure you become a subscriber. And for those of you who are regular patrons of the channel, welcome back. Make sure you smash the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure that you are engaging with the content. Now, this is a very, very, very interesting topic as far as I'm concerned, and one that I had not necessarily thought about, and we'll discuss that in detail. Now, we know that a few weeks ago, or I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we saw Jaron Ennis post a picture of himself with Canelo Alvarez, and obviously he was in the camp of Canelo Alvarez. Now, of course, some people cheered it. Some people had an issue with it. I was one of the people that believed that it was perfectly fine. Some would call him a sellout, which makes absolutely no sense to me, considering he has no affiliation or alignment with Terence Crawford. And my understanding is that his family already had a relationship with that camp over there. So I find it to be perfectly fine if Jaron Ennis chose to go over there and help out Canelo Alvarez in regards to his fight with Terence Crawford. Now, when this first dropped, the perspective of many, including this channel, was this is a masterclass move by Canelo Alvarez. Why? Who better to get you prepared for Terence Crawford, who is supposedly a switch hitter? I would argue that he is really just a southpaw that starts off in orthodox. And some would then say that, he figures his opponents out. Well, the only thing he truly figures out is that he's getting his ass whooped in the orthodox stance, and he moves back to southpaw where he truly is comfortable. But I digress. Let me get back to the topic. What better way to prepare for a switch hitter than with Jaron Ennis, an individual who switch hits all throughout the fight? It should be perfect preparation for someone like Canelo Alvarez that wants that look prior to getting in the ring with Terence Crawford. It makes perfect sense, right? Now, we are on record stating that sparring is sparring, and there's too much made of sparring today versus what we saw back in the day. But of course, sparring does give you the opportunity to see different looks, right? To get you prepped for those looks. It makes perfect sense in my mind. But Teddy Atlas brought up something that I found to be incredibly interesting, and he looked at it in a different lens, right? What might be the negative impact of Canelo Alvarez sparring with someone like Jaron Ennis or any other yo-yo that he's also sparring with that could also be something that could potentially be an issue based off what Teddy Atlas is saying in regards to this fight. Now, let's jump into what Atlas had to say. Atlas is already on record stating that he believes that Terence Crawford is going to win this fight. He believes that Terence Crawford is a generational fighter and that he has the technical skills to pull this fight off. I agree. He has the technical skills to pull this fight off. And the reason why I'm saying this is that there could be perception that Teddy Atlas has a certain level of bias already in what he's seeing just based off of his opinion, his position already. So I wanted to put that out there so that people understand that that Teddy Atlas has always leaned towards Terence Crawford. But this is what he had to say. So Teddy said that sparring in terms of Canelo Alvarez and Jaron Ennis could backfire. And the reason why he believes that it could backfire is this, and this is the exact quote. He says, "If I have an older car with a lot of miles, I don't want to be taking it on the Autobahn. I'd pick spots to amp him up, but only with someone that sharp." So what he's essentially saying is that you're putting Canelo Alvarez in the ring with someone like Jaron Ennis, who is young, vibrant, someone that's could present real challenges in sparring. And he believes that that could put a lot of damage or could cause a lot of wear and tear and damage in a lead up to a fight with Terence Crawford. And maybe he zaps his gas tank prior to even getting in a ring with Terence Crawford. And for me, that's an interesting take, right? Because, Canelo Alvarez is an older fighter. He's 35 years old. Terence Crawford is definitely no spring chicken. I think he'll be short 38 by a few days when they get in the ring. So, yeah, you want to make sure that you are, working through your training camp in a way that's very smart and what's most appropriate for your body. And so, would you want to go into a training camp or go through a training camp where you're in there with a guy like Jaron Ennis that's really going to tax you during sparring? Well, I hear what Teddy's saying, but I think I have to disagree. And here's why I disagree. Based off of what, if I'm not, I think this was Mill City that I heard this from. Shout out to Mill City. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, they went 4 rounds one day and then 5 rounds another day. And I question if Teddy Atlas, this position is coming from the fact that we've heard rumors that supposedly Jaron Ennis was really putting it on Canelo and actually made him gas out or quit in the 3rd round, something like that. Mill City has debunked that as being cap. I believe it's cap just because of, Canelo Alvarez is a very smart fighter. Why on earth would they go through a camp allowing someone like Jaron Ennis to just tee off on Canelo? That's not what sparring is when you're helping somebody prep for a fight. So I find it hard to believe that occurred. I find it hard to believe that they would push Canelo in a way that just does not work for him, considering his age. I think Eddie Reynoso and those guys over there are pretty sharp. They've been in the game for a long time. So I find it to be far-fetched that would happen. Is it possible? Maybe it is possible. I mean, Teddy's been in the fight game way longer than me, and so he's seen way more stuff than I've seen. Matter of fact, I just said that in a way. Hold on, let me make sure I restate that because someone want to take that out of context. Teddy Atlas has been in the fight game. I have not. So he's seen way more than I've ever seen in the sport of boxing. So maybe it is possible that can happen, but it just doesn't seem logical to me that the team would allow for that to happen. So that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section in regards to what Teddy Atlas had to say. Does it make sense to you? Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and I am out.